Hi everyone. I just wanted to give you feedback on assignment 1. Please take these into account. These are the errors that I see you guys do. And yeah, I just wanted to address it with a recording so that you guys can have it. And please, 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 please take heed. Number 1, I gave you guys feedback in your assignment, but this feedback should be used and be incorporated in the feedback that I've already given you. So the first thing is that, guys, please, I don't know how to state this very much or enough. When you answer your questions, you have to use the tier method. Like I explained to you guys in previous recordings, the tier method is it's a method that I developed on how to answer theory questions. Okay, so the first thing is that you would list the theory from your prescribed textbook. So if we look, for instance, for an example on the functional management skills, right? You see that the functional management skills, this is when you list them. But after you list them, you need to be able to explain each, right? So you explain each and every one of these, and then you come up with an example for each and every one. And then for each and every one, you need to come up with an added resource. So when I look at the tier method, again, it says list the theory. So you will have listed the key management skills, and then you have to explain it in your own words, right? And there I've and one of the recordings we did, we said that you need to paraphrase and reference this. So your reference could either be your textbook or whatever reference that you use, and then you have to paraphrase it. And with regards to paraphrasing, you may use generative AI, but if you do use generative AI to help you with paraphrasing, then you need to again paraphrase that AI answer. And I've done a whole recording on generating AI, so please refer to that video. And then you need to then provide an example as per the question or the case study that is provided. So in this case, our example was Dumi's car wash. So after you list every of those, then look at the car wash example and see then how does the theory relate to the car wash, and that's where your example comes from. And then you can provide an additional resource in the form of another example. So you research basically that topic that is being asked, and then you come up with another additional response. And like I've always said, when you go beyond and provide this fourth answer, this is where you kind of like qualify yourself, to get a distinction. And then lastly, using the tier method, you need to include a disclaimer at the end of your assignment on how you use generative AI to assist you in generating your answers. Okay. And yeah, that's the first thing that I need to start in. So the first question, when we look at it, you had to analyze the entrepreneurial venture and, well, the type of entrepreneurial venture. And then you also had to discuss which key functional areas enable the individual to deal with external factors. All right. And they said in your example, they literally make it, clear for you. So you should discuss whether the venture is a micro, small, or a medium enterprise, and then you need to then outline the functional key management skills. So with regards to number one, the selecting which, if it's a micro, a small, or a medium size, we know that the theory says, this is a micro environment, and this is, how it qualifies the small business environment. So with regards to your reasoning, some of you guys said it's a micro business, some of you guys said it's a small business. It's not a problem as long as you, what's this supposed to be, million, as long as you, or is that million in Afrikaans? Maybe this is like the Africans first. Sorry, I digress. But anyway, as long as if you say, for instance, it's a micro business, then make an example of why you would say it's a micro business. Does Dumi have 5 or few employees, and is her annual turnover this much? And guys, the other mistake that you made is that you did not read. So please ensure that you read further, because then when you read further, you will get more examples that will help you with answering your question in a better way. All right. Then the second thing is that you had to then say, discuss the key functional areas. We were obviously looking for these answers. So like I always say, please try and make sure that you use the prescribed textbook at least as your source, so that you can be more accurate with your answers. Yes, you can find, like, for instance, if you if you Google key functional areas, there'll be another textbook or another source or a website, which you guys love, a website that'll give you key functional areas, but it might not list them as this, right? And sometimes you might find that, your answers are a bit off, and not necessarily because they are not like you assign these particular questions. So because they are off, you might lose marks in that regard. Okay, then question 2. Let me just check if my mic is on. Yes, and I'm recording. We good? Yeah. Okay. Question 2, you had to discuss the business environment, and they make it very clear that you need to include the micro, the macro, and the micro environment. Okay. So then what that entails, again, using the tier method. So you will list your micro environment and variables, your macro environment, and your market environment. But then you will say, what is the mission statement? You will explain it. You will give an example for it. Functions of a business, again, you list it, you explain it, and you give an example, and then production factors. So again, we're looking for this. And one mistake that you guys made is, and I know the question says, there's some question that maybe sometimes in a question they can say, which do you think is relevant? If you think about the macro environment, all of them are relevant, guys. So every time you have a question that says, answer the question based on what you think is relevant, answer the questions. Like every single one of them is important. So do not say, oh, only the economic or only the social. Okay. Make sure that with every answer that you provide, answer it fully, even if unless if they say, don't only then provide the macro environment, then by all means, then just discuss the macro environment. But if it's not stipulated which you should answer, go ahead and answer every single one, guys. This question was, I think, out of 30 marks, so it makes sense that it would be so comprehensive. And then question 3, you had to explain the process that Dumi should follow to cultivate a creative attitude as an entrepreneur. So the answers that we were looking for was actively seek ideas. But again, when you say actively seek ideas, you explain what it is. Like I said, with the tier method, you list it, you explain it, you provide an example and a further example if you want to qualify for a distinction. And you would have to do this for every single one. I think with regards to, you guys approaching your assignments, I saw, you can tell when a person is like in a hurry to finish. Maybe you didn't have enough time. Guys, please make sure that you give yourself enough time to answer the questions. So some of you guys would have maybe answers that you Googled from somewhere, right? And maybe the answers might not be in line with what these answers are. In that case, I read the answer and then I see, okay, is this relevant? Does it work? Does it not work? If it does not work, that means you lose marks. But if it does work, then it means that, you will get the marks that you need to get. And then question 4, you had to recommend and describe the best business format for the entrepreneurial venture. So with this question, for instance, what a lot of you guys did was you just read the slides that I provided. And as a matter of fact, I really regret giving you guys those slides, because now you guys are just over relying on them. And I've actually made the decision that I'm not going to give you guys slides anymore, because then what you guys do is you read the slides and you think it's enough. So you will say a sole proprietor is one owner, and then you just give a few things. Guys, go ahead. If you look at the textbook, it talks about the advantages and the disadvantages of each, the implications of each. For those who've went the extra mile and actually read your textbook, you would have given me that. So actually, yeah, I've decided I'm not going to give you guys slides anymore, because then you guys over rely on it, which then means that your answers are short-sighted, and then you won't be able to get your full marks. So you had to either choose a sole proprietor, a partnership, a closed corporation, or a company. Guys, my advice to you is that the answer will always be a company. Okay, the reason for that is because a company is registered. With a company, you don't have to um with a company, you don't have to, like, for instance, with a sole trader, right? It means you don't register your business. Why would you want to have a business that's not registered, right? And then on top of that, with a sole proprietor and a partnership, once your business goes down and you become bankrupt, the bank can come to you in your personal bank statements, in your personal bank account, and say, listen, you owe this and this much, come and pay for it. Whereas if it's a company, because a company is a registered legal entity, a company, once the business goes down, or the company goes down, it is only the company that will be liable for the debt. So the company or the banks or whoever that you owe cannot say, go into your bank account and pay us. Okay. So yeah, if you don't read, you will not know that. And that's why it was very disappointing, to see somebody say sole proprietor. Yes, I gave you your mark, but it just shows me that you really not, what do you call it? Like, I don't know, throwing yourself into the theory and really understand, reading further to really understand what it is that is required of you. And then for question 5, you had to develop a mission statement with clear objectives for the entrepreneurial venture. Okay. Now, the first thing that you need to know about a mission statement is that it covers these 10 questions. If and you guys, first of all, well done, for a majority of you guys came up with really, really good mission statements. But as I was reading your mission statements, then I had to see, have you addressed why you're in the business? Has it addressed why you are customers? Guys, a mission statement does not have to be a paragraph, does not have to be one sentence. It can be a page if it needs to, as long as it answers these questions. Okay, so next time, please make sure that you even address it. You can even say in your answer, a mission statement should cover the following points, and then you list them. And then you go ahead and compile your mission statement, because once you do that, it lets me know that, okay, at least you're taking into consideration what the theory says and you're trying to implement it. And then the thing about the SMART objectives is that SMART objectives should be specific, they should be measurable. Okay, and timeous. So if it's an objective is for instance measurable, it means that, you said, I want to reach 20% sales, right, at a time of in a year's time. So after a year, we can go back and say, did you reach your 20% increase of sales, and was it within that 1 year stipulation that you said. So guys, again, you guys here, you really did not apply yourselves, and it was really disappointing to see. So yeah, I really regret giving you guys those slides. I'm literally taking them down, and yeah, I will not be providing you guys slides. Of course, I will still be using them for the recordings, but yeah, it's just very disappointing that you guys really don't apply yourselves further. Okay. And then other feedback, like general feedback besides the answers, right? The mistakes that I saw is that, number one, you guys do not use the tier method to answer questions. Okay, guys, with every single answer for every single module that is a theory module, you need to list the theory. Then you need to explain it in your own words. Again, you can use AI to assist you with paraphrasing, but after you've paraphrased, the answer from the textbook, then there's a word that they say in your declaration, the honesty declaration. It says there's a sentence that says rework, rewrite, and review, or something like that, your answer. So your generative AI answer, you cannot just copy and paste from AI. You need to then still paraphrase that same answer that you got from AI. But again, I've done a full recording on this, so please refer to that recording. And then you have to provide an example. So when you provide an example, guys, you'll say, if let's say it's the macroeconomic environment and you are discussing the economic and variables, right? You'll say economic variables include inflation, interest rates, prices going up, etc., etc. How this applies to me and her business is, that's why you use that example. So this example should always be as per the case study that is provided. Again, if you want additional marks, then please provide an additional resource in the form of another example. Sorry, in the form of another example, a definition, a real world experience, etc. And this, again, you also have to reference. So remember, with your references, guys, you need to go beyond the textbook. And maybe, yeah, I didn't make a note of that. So please make sure you go beyond the textbook. And then again, like I said, include a disclaimer if you have used generative AI, so that we can know. I use it. I'm doing my PhD, and guys, trust me, I use it. I use it even to send emails. Sometimes if I have to send an email to lecturers, right? Because you guys know by now that besides me being a lecturer, I'm also the head of management studies, right? So I have to email lecturers sometimes, and sometimes you'll write something and it just doesn't sound good. I go to chat GPT, and then I say, please rephrase for me professionally. And I like professional and friendly, you know what I mean? And it actually does that for you. All right. And then number 2 is your table of contents, guys. You need to have an automated table of contents, and this is the last page, you know, and is the last page that you should edit. So in other words, after you're done with your examples or your answers, etc., then your table of contents is the one that you'll go to. So for instance, and let me maybe show it to you right now, because what I've done is, that with every document that I develop, I obviously use headings, right? The headings, I use them up here, and I'll do a whole recording to show you guys just exactly how it's done. But once you are in your assignment general feedback, for instance, you'll say insert page break, right? And then you'll say insert page break again, insert page break again. The reason why is because I want an open page that I'm going to use as my table of contents. Then I'm going to say insert, or it's actually review references, it's references, and then table of contents. For some reason, I like table number 2. Once I include my table of contents, because I've already organized my headings, right? You will see here, because I organized everything in headings. Once I compile my table of contents, it'll me the pages already. Okay, guys, it's professional, it looks good. I didn't even have to type this. What some of you guys will do is you'll say table of contents, right? Contents, right? And then you'll say answer, or let's say question 1, and then and then what you guys will do is a person will do like pay dot 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 dot, and then you'll say, page 3, and then you'll say question 2, right? And let me say here question 1. I'm just showing you guys an example of a bad table of contents. And then you'll say dot 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 and then you'll say page 4. But look at this, it already looks bad because there's no alignment on the 3s and the 4s. Whereas if you use an automated table of contents, look at how beautiful this looks. Okay, nobody needs to, like, already just by going through, this would be obviously, your cover page, naturally in an assignment, and then the second page will always be, your table of contents. The minute your table of contents looks like this, it's already giving me, professional vibes, and I'm already impressed. So guys, please avoid this, because also once you've changed your assignment, let's say for instance you end up going to question 5 and you expand on your answer, your pages are going to keep increasing, right? So then you need to go back again to your table of contents. And what I also like to do with the table of contents, and let me just show you, is that I will also again then put it under heading 1 so that I can always navigate to it. You know what I mean? So if I go to question 1, if I go to question 2, this helps you to navigate your document better. So please, guys, make sure that your table of contents is automated. All right, so I'm done with the table of contents. So we said, yeah, table of contents should be automated, and it's the last page that you should edit. I've already explained, because if you edit anything and then you add an extra page, everything goes out of alignment, and then you have to refresh your table of contents. And then number 3 is your referencing. Oh my God. Prescribed. Okay, you need to use use your prescribed textbook as use the prescribed textbook as your primary source of information. Again, because sometimes the information that you Google might be out of alignment in terms of the correctness of the information, the relevance of the information. So guys, always use your textbook, but do not over rely. And maybe let me put that disclaimer, because what then you guys do is you over rely on your textbook, and that means every reference, niemand, what Nivenhuizen 2019, every answer, question 2, Nivenhuizen 2018. Whereas if you say Nivenhuizen 2019 says blah, 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 and then when you provide additional examples, then you write, I don't know, entrepreneurship, you know what I mean? It makes better, like, a better argument if you use different sources, guys. So please make sure that you do not over rely on one academic source, which would be your textbook. And then you have to use the IIE Harvard Style Referencing Guide. I think a majority of you guys, or let's say a lot of you guys, did okay, okay to good with regards to your referencing, but please make sure that you use this guide. And maybe I'll have to do a recording on how you guys should do that, but yeah, please make sure that you do. And then, as evidenced in the case study, when you write your examples, you will say as evidenced in the case study, or find another word to say as evidenced in the case study. And how do you do that? I like to do this. I go to ChatGPT. You already see it's my shortcut here, and then I'll say paraphrase, right? And then it'll say, sure, give me a text to paraphrase. And then I'll say, as referenced in the evidence in the case study, demonstrated by the case study. You see, so it's giving you ideas on how to write. Okay. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with using generative AI as long as you don't use it to generate your answers. All right. And then an example of a no-no. Somebody said in the assignment, according to the prescribed textbook. Guys, no. You say according to Niemann or King Nievenhazen. So you will say the correct answer would be according to Nievenhazen. 2019. Okay, according to Niemann, or what? Nievenhazen 2019, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and look at this document that I've created. It's already getting out of alignment because I'm typing. So we'll see now at the end, I'm going to go back and do the table of contents, because this picture was basically in this page, but now because I've typed some more, it's getting out of alignment. Hence, every time you make adjustments to your table, to your document, go back to your table of contents and refresh it. Okay, and then another thing is, guys, please use academic sources. Yo, guys, please stop using Indeed. I've shown you guys that you guys need to use EBSCOhost. You guys need to use a Google Scholar. EBSCOhost is in your e-library shelf. Google Scholar, you can literally just go to Google, right? And then just type in Google Scholar. I study, and I'm doing my stuff in my studies. I literally use Google Scholar all the time. So you will find, so in Google Scholar, every time you search for something in, let's say, business environment definition, right? Here you're getting already, every article that you get here is peer reviewed. And if you see there's a link over here, it just means that is the document. So you can click on that, it downloads it for you, and already whatever answer that you find here will be good enough. And then on top of that, look at this. While we are here are your authors, right? You've got your date, it's a 2001. Okay, maybe we need like an updated what do you call it? So in your search, maybe then say since 2020, because you want relevant sources, right? Here's another example, Mola or whatever, corporate want what. You click there, there's your document. You can download it, save it, etc. But here you've got authors, you've got, it's a journal, guys. So you'll be, it's a reputable source. Guys, using an academic source is not difficult. Do not go to Google and then say business environment, right? Because now you're gonna get topper. There's Indeed. Look at this. Oh, this is so, I hate Indeed. Every time I see you guys using Indeed, I'm just like, why? Because who wrote this? Indeed editorial team. Who is can you trust that author? Fine. There's a date here, which is okay, updated on the 29th of March, but we don't mind that. But guys, rather use this as an example rather than using it as what you call it, the main source of your reference. Whereas if you went here, total corporate social responsibility in a competitive environment, you can go to business environment and then you can start searching for the answer in here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, please make sure that you use credible sources. And then I've made here an example of good sources for definitions and explanations of definitions, right? Use your textbook. It can be your prescribed textbook and other textbooks, okay? And then you can use definitely academic journals, like I've just explained to you guys, EBSCOhost and Google Scholar. And then examples of relevant facts, right? The company website. I mean, this lady, she did, what was it? Eco-friendly car wash. So you can say eco-friendly car wash, right? And then you can just see from the websites that you get sustainable car wash. Okay, that sounds like sustainablecarwash.com. You know, what is that all about? Right? You can see it's clearly a website on sustainable car wash. I would kind of start, kind of, like trust this website. But guys, if it doesn't have a name and if it doesn't have a date, don't use it. So then that means what? Car wash tech? No, skip it. Okay? National workshop equipment, first car rental. And sometimes you need to like judge for yourself. Like plush car wash. Okay, this is not what I'm getting. Now we're getting eco-friendly car wash, the green car wash solution. Yeah, these are just car washes that are just online. Okay, so make sure that and let's say an eco-friendly car wash definition, or yeah, definition. And actually definition is is not a good word. Or let's say relevance, because you're thinking to yourself, is it relevant in South Africa? Adopting an eco-friendly car wash practices comes with a plethora of advantages. You see, I like this. Bliss car wash, it's a car wash, yes, but they're actually going ahead and doing a document on why it's relevant. That's something that is relevant for your assignment. Then you can use it. Because remember, in the tier method, and let me just view this navigation pane. It looks messy for the recording, but because of the discussion, we always say provide an additional resource in the form of another example. Then you can say, then maybe the quality doesn't really matter too much, because yes, we've got Bliss Car Wash, right? And they don't have an author. Fine, they don't have an author. Copyright, it's a 2024. We good. But now this information is relevant because they say the environmental impact of traditional car washes. So you take that and you read what they say, and then you say, according to Bliss Car Wash, you know, 2024, they are saying that the benefits of using a what, and look at this. I love it because we've got a name here. Okay, so guys, please don't just select the first source that you find. Okay, I was on referencing, yeah, so relying on the textbook. I've discussed that. Yeah, examples and relevant facts, company websites. If, let's say, for example, the case study is on Checkers, go ahead and Google Checkers. Okay. And then make sure that the websites are credible. Like I said, this car wash example is a credible source because we've got a date here, we've got an author, okay, and we can see that it's a blog. We really don't mind blogs because they can also be relevant. But again, when you use your blog, do not use it for definitions and explanations, guys. You rather use it for examples and relevant facts. Okay. And then an example of bad resources I've written there, Indeed. Oh, Indeed, it grinds me, grinds me up the wrong way. And then Wikipedia. Thank God none of you guys used Wikipedia. And then I've written here, disclaimer, with any source that does not have an author and a date. If there's no author and a date, guys, come on. It's just showing me that you literally went to Google and you found the first answer and you used it because you're desperate and you're just trying to finish your example. All right. And then there's a website that I Googled here, and they made an example. I think I googled something like credible sources, examples of credible sources, something like that. And they say for primary, right, if it's like first-hand evidence giving you direct access to your research topic, right, empirical or statistical results, newspapers and magazines, letters, diaries. So please go through this. Whereas secondary, you can use books, journals, right? This is where your answers come in, because we are using secondary information. Secondary information is basically information that is already provided for you. You are just using it as a source. Okay. And then tertiary sources include encyclopedias, dictionaries, almanacs. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I've discussed it enough and you guys get the point. And then when you answer the questions, all the elements of every answer are important for every business. Okay. And what that means is, if we go to Let's see, question 2, the microenvironment. Again, if they say discuss the macroenvironment, by all means then discuss all of it. But if they say to you, oh, select the ones that you think are relevant for the business, guys, it's everything. Discuss everything. I think it's like a trick to make you guys think that they're not all relevant, but trust me, every answer is always relevant. So don't just say, oh, I'm just going to discuss the mission statement and the functions of the business. You will lose marks, and people have actually lost marks because of that. Okay. And then, so yeah, therefore, they should all be discussed unless if otherwise stated. Example, you are asked only to discuss the macroeconomic environment instead of the entire business environment. The minute they say business environment, discuss everything. And this goes for every question, okay? Every question, every time they ask you a mission statement, answer all of it, guys, please. That's how you lose marks, and that's actually also how you gain marks, all right? And then I say, even if the question asks, which do you think? Okay? And let me put it like that. Which do you think are relevant to the case study? It is every answer. And then there is no relevant interaction with theory. Yo, guys, a lot of you guys made this mistake. And actually, let me highlight this in red because it's actually such a problem. Okay, so then the answer will say there is no relevant, so you'll answer your question, right? But in answering your question, the mistake that you guys do is you will list, or you'll provide your answer, but in your answer, there is no relevant interaction, number one, with the theory, right? Which means your prescribed textbook. Number two, additional readings. Guys, it is so important. Your textbook is not the only thing or the only source of answers, okay? And then number three, referencing. Yo, guys, again, get other sources. Like we saw now with that car wash example, the car wash example, the car wash example. Sorry, I'm trying to do this end talk. What am I doing? Sorry. Hey, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Okay. Where was I? So we saw with the car wash example, right? That when we Googled that car wash, it's literally giving us such good information on the benefits of eco-friendly car washes. Guys, please, and research that justifies the student's rationale in supporting the answers. And this is what needs to do. Your answers need to be supported by evidence, guys. That evidence comes from the theory, it comes from additional readings and other references. Okay, so please, you will see, like in the feedback that I gave you guys, your individual feedback, I'll put there, I'll literally copy and paste this sentence and say there is no relevant interaction. Guys, you need to make sure. And how do you do this? Through using the tier method. Well, the tier method is a cut proof what's the word? It's a surefire way. It's a I don't know, evidence-based method of making sure that you interact with the theory. You have additional readings. Guys, the tier method, don't doubt it because I'm saying that I'm the one that developed it. Yes, I'm the one that developed it. But guys, please don't judge it or think it's not, relevant or, important just because I'm the one that developed it. Okay. And then other examples, please use UK English, not American English. Okay, with us we don't use Z in our when we what do you call it, spell, conceptualize, or whatever word. Okay, realize, organization. Americans, they use Z, versus us who use British English. Guys, we were colonized. We were colonized by Britain. Okay, so we use the Queen's English. Okay, that's why they came and stole our diamonds. Okay, because they came and what do you call it, colonized us. So please, we have been colonized. Use your colonizers language. Okay, and then another thing is, please use paragraphs and numbering to make marking easier. Speaking of that, and that's the last point that I have, I just want to show you guys an example of an example of a good example. What do you call it? A good, a bad. assignment and a good example. So in this one, you can see this person, okay, cover page. First of all, there's no, spaces. And then they said here, look at this. Question one. Guys, no, guys. You must people. And also, if you think about question one, right? If you think about question one, the answer is micro business, the small business or medium business. Now I have to read and go and find, where did this person talk about a micro? And then I see, okay, two functional areas. And sometimes you'll see in your answers, I will have highlighted your answers, and you are wondering why. If you have a thing like this, it's because I'm literally looking for the answers, and because I'm trying to get marks for you, I'll highlight the things, the keywords that I'm looking for. So guys, please look at this. Yo, yo, I wanna cry. And look at this. There's not even question one, no question two, no question three, no question four, no skips, no lines. Yo, guys, this is bad. Okay, the referencing is good referencing, but no, this, guys, please, 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 please do not submit like this. And then I've made an example here of somebody who submitted something that looks good. I mean, you can already tell the table of contents. Remember, I said the table of contents. Look here, it's aligned. Yes, of course, you can say table of contents rather than just saying contents, So pay attention to detail. And yes, this is not literally like the best work. However, it is just showing that at least there's an introduction, right? At least they are showing analysis of entrepreneurial ventures. You are seeing here, they're saying key, factors of entrepreneurs. And yes, they're listing whatever. And this is not necessarily to say that the answers are right, but I'm just showing you that at least here you're seeing, okay, management skills. It's giving you an idea. And let's go to question two, for example, business environments, right? Microeconomic, mission, functions. They definitely use their headings. And also, guys, if you don't, because with mine, I'll be like question one, question two, etc. So what I normally do is I go to the heading, and then I'll right click it, and then I'll update it, because I don't want it to look bold. Whereas if you say file, new document, and this is what this student used, and I'm just trying to show you I don't have a problem with this, right? Naturally, if you say, let's say, question one, and then you say mission, let's say mission, vision, business, something like that. Maybe those are your answers, right? If you go to question one and you click heading one, there, it's already giving it to you, and you see it's already listing it here. And maybe this will be two, you see. So if even if you don't amend it like I do, I just like to amend it because I don't like blue. I just think it's just like, no, it's not for me. Okay. And then what I also like to do is I'll do like a little tab, maybe if necessary. Okay. So guys, please, 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 please make sure that you automate your headings. If you don't know how to do this, there is already an assignment template that shows you how to do that. Okay, so this person made use of it. There's nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, she was able to give me, or he was able to give me, a table of contents. Okay, so this is just an example. So what I don't like about this one is that there's no page. Skip pages, guys, please. Look at my assignment, okay, or what this document that I've created, right? I've discussed question one, right? And what did I do after question one? I skip a page and I go start a new page. Start your page. What a new question in a new page. We're not trying to save paper because we are not printing, guys. Even in, actually, never mind that, because even if you're, let's say, in your research, or you have to do a thesis or whatever, every question always starts, and a new chapter always starts in a new page, guys. Think about it that way. So skip lines to make reading easier for you. And if we go to like this book, the book version, like, it already looks neat. You know what I mean? If I'm going through this, you can see, okay, referencing, whatever. Yes, here it's starting to look a little bit untidy, but you can see by virtue of the numbering, okay, here's a number. You get what I'm saying? So please make sure that you use what do you call it? Yeah, you skip pages like that. And then, yeah, I think that's it for the example and this discussion. So thank you very much, guys. All the best with your assignment too. I hope to see better, even when you're writing your Your ICE tasks. I haven't marked your ICE tasks, but please, when you're marking your ICE tasks, I don't even need to mark your ICE tasks, because all you have to do for your ICE task is to make sure that you use the tier method. If you don't know what the answer is, use the tier method. If you don't know how to answer a question, use the tier method. Everything always just boils down to the tier method. I believe I've had a thorough discussion of this. It's been a long time. Let me stop recording because the recording is going to be long. Thank you so much. All the best. Mwah.